Ever heard of the Stoic saying, don't set yourself on fire to keep others warm? Now, as bizarre as that sounds, and I know you're like, well, I wouldn't do that. What if I told you that today's discussion is gonna center black people in that same spot? It's gonna make them sound as if they've set themselves on fire to keep the palm color community warm. In fact, to keep any other marginalized community apart from the black community warm at their own expenses. Now, solidarity is a multifaceted issue that is practiced among two different groups that show appreciation amongst one another despite the long-standing tensions in history that they might have gone through. And in this case, I'm talking about the Palestinian and the black community solidarity. Well, some black people think that this has gone too far. In fact, they think that Palestinians are now taking advantage of the solidarity that black people shared with them to the point whereby they want to behave palm color-like and dictate what happens in the black community, to the point where they want the electoral outcome to be dictated by them. If you think I'm bluffing, here is the video that sparked today's discussion. Leave your thoughts in the comments and tell me what you think.
Black Americans are learning a very hard lesson right now, and you know what? It's well earned. It's well deserved. It is. I'm not even going to pull any punches in this. I'm not. You know, I get it. Because of our oppression and because of our circumstances in this nation, we can see when other people are going through it and when they are struggling and when they are fighting a fight similar to our fight, how we can sympathize and empathize with all of that. And because of it, we know how badly and poorly we have been treated. We are so quick to jump on the bandwagon and fight those fights too. But the thing of it is we not finished fighting our fight. We're not. When you look around, it takes energy, first of all, to fight. And that's energy that our communities so desperately need, because look around, look at our communities. Look at the area where you live. Do you have everything that you need? Do we have everything that we need? Do we have easy access to drugstores, easy access to grocery stores and fresh food? Are we being paid livable wages? Are we being paid our worth and our value? Do we have all the rights that we should have? Do we have the respect that we should have? Do we have the love for one another that we should have? Do we have the community that we should have? No. The answer to all of that is no. And that's because black people, for some reason, have been convinced that we do not have the right to self-center. That we do not have the right to put our own needs, communities, and issues to the forefront. And the rest of the world has pushed our issues back, and they have used our allyship and our advocacy and our willingness to fight for the right thing against us. And they always say, no, wait, we need you to fight for this, and we do. Wait, we need you to fight for that, and we do. No, care about this, and we do. No, we can't be caring about what's going on in your communities. We can't care about maternal mortality rates. We can't care about the police kill you with impunity in the streets. No, we can't. We don't have time to care about your kids not getting a quality education, your schools not being fully funded, your neighborhoods not having access to the same things that other neighboring neighborhoods in the United States have access to. No, we can't invest in your neighborhoods and your community. Government money and funds, because they're needed someplace else. Wait. But in the meantime, fight for everybody except for yourselves. And so you're learning a very hard lesson right now, because people like me told you. I'm going to say it again. I'm from Detroit. I have lived experiences with Palestinians. Huge community. I told you last year that they were anti-black and didn't like you. And they are hopping on the same bandwagon that white Americans and everybody else over here then hopped on. And that is, sacrifice yourselves for our cause, because we need your numbers. Do not use your numbers to elevate yourselves. Do not use your numbers to fight for yourselves. Do not use your numbers to create a better situation for yourselves. Abandon yourselves in favor of us. And if you don't do that, then you're anti-Palestinian. We are the only community that gets told time and time and time again that we ain't worth shit until they need us. And that our issues don't matter to them, but their issues should matter to us. And if we focus and concentrate on our issues, on us, then somehow we wrong. And y'all keep allowing yourselves to be convinced of that. And that's why we're here. The divide between Black Americans and Arabs, Palestinians, that shouldn't just start. That divide been there. Just ask anybody from New York or Detroit. Ask anybody, anybody who lives in the city with a large Palestinian demographic and a large Black demographic. The only reason why a lot of you Black people didn't think that divide was there was because you so busy running around trying to save everybody but Black people. You're so busy running around trying to prove to everybody except Black people that you're a good person and that you're worthy. You trying so hard to convince others of that you ain't convinced yourself of that, which is why you don't fight for your own people and your own causes and your own neighborhoods, your own communities, your own children. I'm glad y'all starting to wake up.
So I've already been losing followers recently. I don't give a fuck. Like, I'm not here for the numbers. But after this one, I'll probably lose a few more. I'm heated. And this isn't like a call out or call in. This is just a reality check for other white people. We do not get to label anybody in the Black community anything based on what they choose to do with the vote. We have to realize that regardless of the outcome of this election, there is going to be violence. Potential violence, very real violence carried out against Black men, women, and children. More than usual. Because if Trump wins, that brings about a violent America. We've already seen that. If he loses, then the meltdown from white people is going to be insane because they will not accept that he is lost to a Black woman, which means violence will also come out of that. And while y'all are out here moral grandstanding, doing these purity tests, at the end of the day, this will not affect us. The outcome of the election will not it will not carry the weight of violence that it will carry out against Black people. Come back down to reality right now. Stop policing what Black people do with their vote. Period. Because at the end of the day, violence is going to come out, and it's not going to be violence towards us. And so, first of all, no, the majority of white people keep, whoever's talking about revolution, y'all don't know what the takes. You aren't ready. You can't even have a conversation with your other white family members about racism without melting down, without getting scared, but you think you're going to overthrow the government. Please be so f***ing honest with yourself. There's so many white people right now that are so delusional. Y'all want to run around and call Black people this, or that. If they choose to vote for Kamala Harris, if they choose not to vote, if they choose to vote third party, whatever, that's not our business. We are in this place. All this self-hatred is coming out so heavy right now from white people. Because the reality is, the reason there are genocides in all these different countries is because of white supremacy, which is an us problem. And so everybody that's angry right now should be angry at white people. Because we're here because of us. We have the very fact that we have Donald Trump as a choice for president is a result of white supremacy. So all this energy you have for everybody else, any other community, all this anger you have, use it constructively to help deconstruct and decolonize your mind and to work towards destroying white supremacy. Do that. Leave black people alone. Let's focus on us, period.
When you know, you know. When you know, you know. Because I know New Yorkers know, just like Detroiters know. I was trying to tell our people, sis, I was trying. And you know what I was getting? I was either getting ignored, talked over, ignored. I'll say make that one category. Or straight up getting cussed out. And you know who the biggest offenders were black women. I had to block so many black women when all I did, mind you, all I did was just tell the truth about how Palestinians really feel about black people. I was just, maybe I was just being so, because, when it comes to black people, I have a soft heart. I love black people. I have a soft heart. So when I'm talking and I'm addressing black people, I try to come across as loving as I can, lovingly as I can. And maybe black people just needed a hard conversation in, but girl, they was going in on me. They were going in on me for telling the truth, baby. I was like, these Palestinians don't like you. They hate you just like white people do. They hate you. They hate you. Now, obviously, I'm not saying that there aren't any exceptions to the rules, but I'm talking about the collective, like the collective of white people. They are just as anti-black. They come into our communities. They set up businesses. They take our money from us. They give us no respect. That's why I stopped going into their businesses. It's the same reason I stopped going into the Asian businesses. The disrespect was just too much. And once you start waking up and you're like, you know what? I'm not going to keep giving these people my money who are so disrespectful to me. And I have all of these lived experiences. I'm trying to tell you so many of them with Palestinians. Honey, I know what's true and in their hearts. And to see so many black people willing to risk American democracy for these people who literally hated them. And you know what? Let's just tell the truth. Since we telling the truth. Since we going harder with the truth today. I always tell the truth. But let's just go harder with it. Just straight up no chaser. A lot of black people don't want to admit this, but it's the truth. See, we have internalized white supremacy to the degree in which a lot of us are self-loathing. And we haven't admitted to that. And the way that self-loathing comes from, with the way it shows up, is that we hate ourselves and we love them. And by them, I mean anyone who isn't black. When I tell you, I had black people fighting against me and tooth and nail for people that didn't look like them. People who had no history of coming to the rescue of black communities. And it's like, what can I say? What can I do to wake up black people and to help black people see that you have been convinced through the process of white supremacy, the white supremacy ideology, you have been brainwashed into abandoning your own interest in favor of the interest of others. And I hope that while we're having these conversations, there are some black people waking up to that and saying, damn, you're right. I was caping hard for Palestinians and now they all on the internet being anti-black and
Let me just stop it right here. Some of you have watched this conversation to the end. You've already seen this video of my big sister here talking about what she was talking about. She was talking about solidarity amongst Congolese and amongst black people that we haven't shown to them or haven't shown to one another, but we've ended up showing Palestinians. Like I remember we talked about Free Palestine even on our channel. We talked about the solidarity that we should show to Palestinians so that the people of Israel would not wipe them out. But how often have we advocated for black solidarity, right? Now, let me take it back here to Africa. Let me just stop talking about my brothers and sisters out there. Let me even point here to Africa, specifically in South Africa. South Africans, my brothers in South Africa and my sisters there, well, let's just say that is exactly what my sister here is talking about in this video. What we are seeing in South Africa. South Africans are better off with a palm color man ruling them and leading them, and they don't want another black person to take over them. Like, why is that? Why do you think that is? It is, I don't know if it's the solidarity that has gone too far, but it's what this sister was talking about. We've inhaled this palm color supremacy to the point whereby we have now become self-loathing, to the point whereby we don't appreciate one another more than we appreciate the palm color people. Like, just remember the time in history when Africa was being colonized. We were taking our own resources, minerals, and everything that we wanted or that we needed in our own communities to thrive, and we were giving it to the palm color people, all because of what? Mirrors, or because of these fancy items and jewelries for our homes. Now, when I was reading and when I was being taught that history, that's when I realized to say we lost it. We lost resources, all because of these luxury items that these palm colors brought to us. They took our resources, refined them, and created these fancy items that they brought back to us, and we admired and appreciated those items more than the resources that those palm colors were using to create them. Like, just think about that for a moment. It's the greed, the love of money and power that led to our demise. It's the self-sabotage, and that is the reason why I'm going to explain to you how internalized palm color supremacy occurs when individuals from marginalized groups adopt and believe in the stereotypes. I'm talking about the values and the norms imposed by the dominant palm color culture. Now, the problem, or the first thing, is internalized palm color supremacy can normalize oppression, right, which can make subjugation appear normal or inevitable, reducing resistance to colonial rule or systemic autodecist. This is a point where our subconsciouses just give up and say, hey, give me the oppression, I deserve it. There's this content creator from the UK, a YouTuber that I am watching right now, who talks about manifesting your desired reality. And he was talking about one of the obstacles that black people face is the fact that we are told in society that because you have this black skin, people are going to treat you differently because you are deserving of the suffering. You have to work twice as hard. You have to work twice as hard in everything, education, careers, and all that. And that's the reason why we fail to manifest our desired realities, because we normalize the oppression. And now that we're having this discussion, that explains a lot. Like, just take for example, do you remember the last time we had a discussion about racial discrimination and how one black person, a brother, said that it's actually a normal thing for black people to be subjugated to racial discrimination, and he saw it as a normal thing. It was working in a palm color institution, and he normalized the oppression that those palm color people showed him. Right, because it's enabled him to rise to a position that he was in currently, right? Because he doesn't see a problem with that. He just sees it as a normal thing because it's something that palm colors have created, saying that they are the ones that should always subjugate us to their rule, right? And when I was reading history on the perspective of Kenya and how Kenya has always been in this colonial infrastructure and never really coming out, is because of the freedom fighters that fought for Kenya's freedom. Now, I'm not just specifying Kenya here. I'm talking about every African country, but the example I'm giving is Kenya, right? These are African freedom fighters fought tooth and nail for African freedom in this country called Kenya, right? But after the freedom came and the independence came, one of their leaders was sold to the palm color people by another black person, all because of money, right? Or because of the greed, or because of the love of money that this brother had. Kenya once again lost its freedom. Perhaps that's the reason why we are seeing this revolution going on, and the citizens are now wilding and going crazy about the government subjugating those taxes on them. It's one of those things. We've normalized the oppression. Now, the other thing is self-perception. This can lead to the diminished self-worth or self-esteem, which might make individuals more accepting of discriminatory practices or unequal treatment. Like I gave in that example of that brother, right? That was seeing that unequal treatment as right. It's deserving because they are palm-colored, right? They are lighter than us. They are brighter than us. Like, just take any black, I'm not really sure if it's any black kid out there, but like African kids, black kids, in Africa, if you ask them who is more intelligent, you or a palm color person, they're gonna straight out and say it's a palm color person because palm colors are smart. Like, I don't really know where those answers come from, but any black person in Africa, if you ask them, so long as they're young, that's what they'll tell you. Now, the other reason is social conditioning. Now, this exposure to and acceptance of the dominant culture's beliefs can result in internalized inferiority, which may lead to tolerating subjugation as a perceived status quo, or even justifying oppressive systems. With that being said, I leave you with this discussion and I bid you farewell. If you enjoyed our discussion, like, share, and subscribe, and leave your thoughts in the comment section and tell me what you think about this. Signing off for now, take care.